Dr. Ravindra has spoken to me about the problem being faced part of the village and also the lake regeneration which you wanted to start. So based on that, I decided to speak with you people uh, regarding rainwater harvesting. That we must, how should we save? What should we do about it? How to go about it? Since 2003, I'm working in this particular field. But at the same time, we have to see because every day, as a matter of fact, we keep listening the word at least about the global warming, climate change, and Dr. Ravindra himself is a trained climate reality leader. Uh, so I just wanted to bring into the first that why because if you speak to your parents, I'm not talking about you people as such, but at least 3 to 4 decades back, and if you see the monsoon cycle then and the monsoon cycle now, there is a vast change. In Karnataka, in Maharashtra, first week of June, normally we used to receive a rainfall, and then it is to continue for till at least Diwali, that is for almost 4 months. And 80% of the monsoon rains which we normally used to receive in this period of time. Balance 20% is pre-monsoon, post-monsoon, like that, and we used to get the entire our average annual rainfall. In your area, I know about the Mysore as such, that you are receiving about 800 millimeter plus annual average rainfall. So that means what we are looking at now with the climate change due to global warming, what you are facing is now you may be getting the annual average rainfall of 800 millimeters. However, the pattern of downpour is changed. Suddenly you'll find it is pouring very heavily, and after that then you'll find that there is a lull in the time. You'll find droughts are taking place. You will find that there is a drought which is happening regularly. So what we noticed, like I'll give you an example of Pune as such. In 1972, I was first time posted in Pune. Though I'm from Maharashtra, I stay in Kolhapur. Belongs to Kolhapur. And in those days, Pune was known as non-fan station, meaning there were no fans, neither available for sale or they never existed in any of the offices or residences, not required. Maximum temperature during summer days used to be at the most 30 degrees. Otherwise, it never required. Today, when I came in 72, that was the case. But today it is, AC is not a luxury. Almost it has become a necessity. Check up with the Bangalore or Mysore or your own town where you people are staying, and you'll find, discussing with your parents, you yourself will find that there is definitely a change in atmospheric conditions or climatic conditions is taking place. Now, all this definitely affects the monsoon cycle or natural cycles which happens all around. Now, take a case. I'll again go back to Pune for statistical data. Pune has a population of 6 million, that is 60 lakh, and the vehicle population is 55 lakh. Now, even if we use all types of vehicles, even if we use 1 liter of petrol oblique diesel per day, I'm not talking more about that, but then you burn 1 liter of petrol oblique diesel, it generates 2.5 kg of carbon dioxide. That is by burning the fossil fuel. Now, in case of this 50 lakh vehicles, that means they generate 12,500 metric tons of carbon dioxide every day thrown into the Pune's atmosphere. No wonder Pune is one of the 10th highly air polluted city in India today. Same thing you will calculate at your place or Bangalore or for that matter anywhere in India. The things are changing very, I'm not talking about other than vehicle or transmission. I don't know. I'm not getting. Where do I? How do I share it? Process of Google.
People they're saying there is an arrow mark there.
Your entire screen. Yeah, I'm trying to get. My son is helping me. Let me see. Share. I have to go here.
Yes, sir. Saturday.
Yeah. Correct.
We are able to see your completion map.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, we're able to. Can you see the screen, friends?
Yes, sir.
You can see?
Yes, sir. Started. Presentation on World Water Day. Role of youth.
Yeah. World Water Day. I'm trying to give to you. Now, what we will be seeing is this. What I was talking to you about. Greenhouse gas come from.
Sir, change it to presentation mode, sir.
Presentation mode. Rohan? Is the presentation mode is?
Yes.
It's okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, any mode of transport or any, when we talk about development, we go back to the era when industrial revolution started. That's about 250, almost more than 250 years back. And then when the industrial revolution started, for every industrial action or for every growth, you require energy. In those days, or now also, we depend upon the fossil fuels. Now, fossil fuels are readily available in the form of coal. In those days, coal was immediately available. Then, of course, crude oil came and everything came. You can see it here on the screen. Everything, every motion for that matter, requires energy. And at the moment, country like India, 70% of its power generation is totally based on thermal power plants, that is using the coal. And rest transportation is, we are trying to switch over to the electrical vehicles, but the process is slow. But that means we are still using as a fuel, petrol, diesel, CNG, LPG, and all those things, rest of the things. Now it generates, what happens is generates pollution. Energy, that energy generates. And how much energy is required every day is it's equivalent to 500,000 Hiroshima type of bombs per day for 365 days per year. Imagine. You know, many of you are aware of what happened and how at least the Japan is concerned. For them, the World War II ended with the explosion of these two nuclear devices, one on Hiroshima and another on Nagasaki. Fortunately, really fortunately, after that, no in the conflict scenario, no atom bomb has been, nuclear bomb or nuclear weapon has been used so far. That's a good sign. But imagine now 500,000 exploded. Now what happens? This particular, the energy, heat energy generated because of this energy, like I told you, it is happening everywhere. Our local temperatures are rising. Pune, I was giving you example, from 30 degrees centigrade, now it is 44, 45 plus in the summer days. So it is increasing. Now, where do the energy go? Who absorbs this carbon dioxide gases or greenhouse gases? We were taught, or we are being taught in the schools and colleges, that trees help you trap this, but the number of trees, they do not match the amount of carbon dioxide generated. So most of this heat, 90%, is trapped by the ocean waters. Because our planet is known as an aqueous planet, because 75% of our planet's surface occupies 97% of the water available on this planet. And balance 3%, 1% each is blocked onto the ice caps, North Pole and South Pole, and 1% is a fresh water, which we can see now. So what happens is now, as the this heat energy is absorbed by the ocean waters. Ocean water temperatures are rising. And as the global temperature rises, Earth's water cycle also intensifies. This is resulting in our total disturbance in our monsoon cycles. Now, at least you will remember in 2 years, this pandemic years. Last year, India was visited by two on East Coast and West Coast in the month of May and June, or late May and early June was Nisarg and Amphan on East Coast and West Coast, causing huge damage. Now also this year also, Proyecto and another was Yasi, again on the West Coast and East Coast. Now, what is happening is because of this rise in ocean temperatures, you are getting such a cyclones in the high frequency and high intensity. Number is increasing. About 2-3 decades back, if you see the whole of a year, we used to receive, say, at the most maximum 4 to 5 cyclones a year. Now it is reaching 8 to 9 a year and causing huge damage. Friends, it is happening. Now, so these extreme climatic events because of global warming gives rise to flood, drought, hailstorms, shift in monsoon cycles. Instead of starting in June, at least in Maharashtra, I know, in this part of our western Maharashtra, it starts in June. It may start in June, but it goes beyond that. And then it stops there and then it starts July. So the crop is definitely get a disturbed crop pattern. I just mentioned to you, the only factor you must remember is the last slide. That is, the amount of water on this planet will always remain constant. It will not increase, it will not decrease. The rain pattern may change, but otherwise, because we have been covered, fortunately, by the atmospheric, the kavach or what atmospheric protection is to the planet. So nothing goes out, nothing comes by other than the cosmic rays and everything. Otherwise, whatever greenhouse gases which are generated doesn't leave the planet. These are the water cycles which have been taught to us in our good old days. Now, with the industry, after the industrial revolution, the water users earlier, it was only agriculture and domestic. Now, the third user has come in is the industry. And most of the agriculture, all over the world for that matter, 70% of the agriculture the needs is met by this particular fresh water. Industry takes 22%, anything between 20 to 25%, and balance is 5 to 10% is by domestic. Now, what is important to, even though, at least I'm talking about India, is every government says that per drop, more crop. But unfortunately, you are staying in villages, you will find drip irrigation, though coming in, it is still, we believe in carpet irrigation, means since it is left in bulk, whether it's sugarcane irrigation or cotton irrigation, anything, you'll find water is left. And then that means it is in excess of what is required. That's how we always say by drip irrigation. And also what suits the farming in that particular area is important nowadays. Otherwise, if you'll be surprised to note that 3 square meals, we are fortunate enough that we get 3 meals, that is breakfast, lunch and dinner. Now, per person, the water requirement to make these 3 square meals available to us is 2,000 liters per person per day. This is besides independence in 1947 till date. India's population increased by 100 crores. We were 35-36 crore when we got independence. Today we are 136 crore. That means 100 crore increase must be provided with the adequate amount of water. Now what's happening about this is availability keeps on decreasing. Because I mentioned to you that there is only 1% of fresh water on this planet. Out of this 1%, India's share is only 4%. population-wise, out of the world population, we are 18% are Indians. That is almost one can say every fifth person on this planet is Indian, close to five. Now that means we require to provide as per the WHO standard. You must be getting less than that, but like Bangalore or Pune, Mumbai, Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, you are getting. You are supposed to get 135 to 140 liters per day per person. And in the villages, you are supposed to get 40 to 60 liters per day per person. What is happening in your area, I am not aware, friends, because I do not have the data with you. But I know definitely about Bangalore. In your Bangalore is bad because Niti Aayog says, that is our planning commission, it says that this was the figures declared in 2019, that by 2020, 21 major cities in India will be at the level of zero groundwater status. Take your own village. You are pumping out the water from your bore well or open well. Are we living anything inside? No. You must consider that bore open well is the mother nature's gift to us in a sense. It is doing, mother nature is doing the recurring deposit for us. Come rainy season, almost 35% of the rainwater percolates down and maintains the groundwater table. With concretization, places like Bangalore, I'm not talking about here, but any small towns also, we are mostly covered with buildings and the tar roads or cement roads. So your percolation rate is now going down. That way, one side you want to meet your daily water needs for everything, for your right from your industry, that is your business or commercial activities, to agriculture or farm, and for your domestic needs, your animals needs. So, and you are pumping out. If the supply is less, so in that particular case, the water table will keep on going down. And that is, if you are putting some money in your bank and you're taking it out regularly, it will finish off if you do not again recharge it. So this is what is now presently happening. So availability of water is definitely decreasing in India. If you see 1951, that was the year after independence, first India's general census was taken. When the census was taken for everything, and since then, once water things was changed, till now, 70% of water availability is reduced. That means we are getting what we used to get those days, we are getting 70% less water today. So that is how the Niti Aayog or the government of India says 660 million Indians, means 60 crore Indians do not have access to safe drinking water and safe sanitation and hygiene facilities. Till date, even though government declares that country is mostly open defecation free, but still in villages I also visit, you also must be knowing, there are partly people still do open defecation. And that also spoils because of the rains, everything, the harmful elements from our stool passes through the soil and damages the soil. Not only the damaged soils, but the underground aquifer tables also spoiled. So gentlemen, we are spoiling our groundwater. We are decreasing the groundwater table, and simultaneously we are decreasing the availability of water. For growth, we are using too much of a first to sacrifice is a tree. Number of trees have been reduced drastically today in India. Everywhere, not only it's a worldwide phenomenon. So if every minute, you'll be surprised to know that 4 football field worth of forest is destroyed every year. All over the world. I'm talking about the world figures. And you must be knowing for any roads to be made or constructions to be done, you without thinking twice you cut the. So what is happening is we have become selfish. We think that planet is only for us and nobody else. But then the birds, flora, fauna, animals, everything belongs to this planet. We are latecomers, but we have to learn to stay together. Well, that now you have to see. Now, if you see the India as a whole, now our average rainfall, friends, is much higher than the world average. 1120 millimeters is quite large. And like I mentioned to you, fresh world average is 860 millimeters. So we should be happy with it. But unfortunately, this is not so because it is not throughout the India 1120 millimeters. No. In your geography, you have been taught that in the northeast, Cherrapunji, etc., they receive more than 15,000 millimeters of annual average rainfall. Whereas if you come to Rajasthan, Barmet, Jaisalmer, you'll find 125 millimeters of annual average rainfall. So it is skewed distribution. So naturally, for skewed distribution, we must use and save and conserve every drop of rainwater. That is how during my army days, when I was posted in Rajasthan, I have seen while moving around in the villages there during the war games, we noticed that they are using the rainwater harvesting system for since ages. And that is how they are, they are also having parties, they are also having marriages, everything is continuing. But then they know how to use and recycle and reuse the water. Now, is it something new? No. You must be knowing in your own Karnataka is also, if you see this chart, and say AD 570, 1330, you see Vijayanagar kingdom also in Dharwad, etc. You'll find plenty of old structures which clearly indicated that here our ancestors were using rainwater for the purpose of farming and for the drinking water purposes to meet our needs. So if you see the time scale, 4500 BC, that was almost 6500 years back, we were the world's oldest rainwater harvester. And today, last 400 years, if you see the history, at least I can talk to you confidently about the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj forts in Maharashtra, which are on the hilltops. People used to stay there, farming used to be done, everything was there. It was done purely with the help of the Maharaj ensured that he used the rainwater harvesting systems and techniques to store the water there, so that the people continued to stay there. And as the taps came to your and my house, we neglected the need of the rainwater harvesting, friends. How much is authorized to you? These are at least the people who are staying in towns. Unfortunately, again, I'm sorry, but I do not know how much is your Gram Panchayat or your Nagar Palika is supplying to you. But this is what is 135 liters per day per person. It's generally accepted norm in India or world over. 135 to 150. If the city or the local body government has got more water to supply to their residents, they can do it. There's no problem about it. The two figures which are important is bathing. For taking bath, everybody is supposed to get 20 liters of water per day per person. And for the washing, about 45 liters. That is two together, 65 liters of water. So every day, every person generates a grey water by using this. So this is how, if you see we do not use this water. I remember good old days when I was in school, way back in 1950s. From our small houses, like your village must be having independent small houses, and the water going out of the bathroom, the small bathrooms, it's go out. Outside was the kitchen garden, and there were some trees and drumsticks, every papita and all those, those trees were there. They are supplied water by this grey water. We used to wash, take bath, and that water used to go out, and that was till date, our ancestors, near ancestors, means our parents, grandparents, they knew how to use. But in cities, we do not make use of. So nowadays, government canvasses advocates. We also advocate that you must use the rainwater for the purpose of this particular grey water, recycle and reuse again for flushing, for washing, or for the gardening purposes. Now, I'm not talking about it's everywhere. It is so. If you see the government of India letters to local body government from time to time, first two lines, if you read it, you'll find that if you see the world over data to extract the groundwater, India extracts highest amount of water. That is about 25% of the total groundwater table in the world. We extract 25% of it. China and US, China is the most populated country in the world, and America is most developed country in the world. So they together, they also require huge amount of water, but they together extract 18% of water. We extract 25%. So it is highly unsustainable over extraction, which is depleting the or lowering the groundwater table. That is why if you come to the last paragraph here, you will find the Central Groundwater Authority has directed all the residential group, housing societies, institutions, school, everything. That means every building constructed must have rooftop rainwater harvesting system on its. They must adopt it, must practice it. Are we doing it? Ask yourself in your village, are you doing it? No. I can say confidently in a sense, few people may be doing it, but not all. But that is how we are facing the huge water problem. The most of the times what happens is in your small town also you'll find that domestic sewage, that is your malmutra daily, is not treated 100%. As the population increases, you must have more these sewage treatment plants. So this mismatch always takes place. Also unequal water distribution because you depend more on the government supplies less, that local body supplies less, so you want your water, so you pump out the water from the groundwater table, or you request the local body government to supply them with the government tankers. So plus at least in the bigger towns like Bangalore or Mysore or any other in India, any other Central Water Commission reports, which controls, which takes note of all these things, is about 40% water is lost during transportation in the large towns or bigger towns because the pipes have become old, they get perforated, and the water is leaked out. So even if we manage it properly, you will find to a great extent we can reduce our water management. So my request to you, all the young people who are attending it, should be that you must ensure that in your own village you must conserve, recycle, reuse the water. Water conservation policy doesn't exist in India. If you must be going abroad, your near and dear ones must be staying abroad, you are reading in the papers, etc. I keep going. My son stays outside, or for the global warming meetings, I keep going for training and otherwise also. So we noted down there is the vehicle cleaning, because it's a major amount of water is required. In Pune, even if you use 2 to 3 liters of water per day to clean any type of vehicle, that means more than 1 crore liter of water is wasted. These governments, filtered water is wasted while cleaning the vehicle. So there is no policy to stop this. Outside world, in the developed nation, it's a criminal offense. If you have to clean your vehicle, take it to the nearest cleaning point and get it cleaned. Servicing stations. There are policies, rainwater harvesting policies. Even in Bangalore, you have got a rainwater harvesting policies. In Karnataka, government has got rainwater harvesting policies. But lack of implementation, non-implementation. This is how the water crisis is increasing rapidly. I'm not talking about naturally if the water is not available in the villages will migrate to nearest town or the bigger cities in search of a job, in search of food, and in search of a majorly water. So naturally, this happens. It is happening all over the world. We're not talking more about that. State government GRs are there. We will not again discuss about this. So this is how, friends, is the basic structure for the rainwater harvesting. I have shared one small 2 minutes video on rainwater harvesting with Dr. Ravinder. You can check it up later on. Now, look at this. Everything is, no building will be without rooftop. Now, most of the villages, what happens is the pipe doesn't come down up to the lower level, but just the pipe, a small 6-inch or 8-inch pipe comes out, and the rainwater just falls down. So what we are supposed to do is put a pipe from rooftop to down, put a small filter so that whatever is the dirt there on the rooftop is clean, and then that water is directly connected to your tube well or to your open well. That's all. That is why it's very economical, very cheap, easy to maintain. No electrical parts, no mechanical parts. It's just a plain, simple gravitation it goes through. That very easy to do, very simple to do, friends. Now, why to harvest rainwater? Like we were telling you, because basically it encourages water conservation and self-dependence. Moment you know that, slowly as the day passes, your own children, today what you are pumping out from 300 feet or below that, you are pumping out your children's water. Tomorrow when they grow, or tomorrow when you are already grown, you say, my parents or grandparents have completely exhausted, they've completely pulled out the water, nothing is left for us. It is happening, friends. So we want that, we should not. Whatever, the Mother Nature gives you enough amount of water. Let me assure you, I have moved around in 6 states, helping the rural and urban number of projects, more than 650 projects, more than 100 villages we have made water sufficient. Only because, people's participation, we told them and they were able to do it. It's not at all difficult. Only thing that we must know, how to use it, very simple techniques. I'm there to help you out. The parts are there with you. There is a storage provided by the Mother Earth again, underground streams or aquifers on which you have got a groundwater table, on which you have got a bore well or open well. And the catchment area is your rooftop. Gentlemen, I'm looking at the watch also simultaneously. What I am going to stop now is, I want to take questions from you. Because, because if I keep talking, this will be too much. Can you see me now? Yes, Dr. Ravinder? Can you see me?
Yes, sir, we are able to see.
Yeah, Ravinder, what I wanted to do now is, because we are already approaching last 15 minutes are left only. So what I wanted to know is if people can ask me questions.
Definitely, sir.
I'll be able to then answer, or if they got a specific question to be answered, or whatever we discussed other day, Dr. Ravinder, if you can remind me those things, I'll be able to clarify.
Questions ಕೇಳೋರು ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು.
Sir, this is Kiran from Nanjangud. I just had a question on groundwater. So when did the process of borewell and all start in our country, sir? Because it is relatively not a very old practice method, right? So I just wanted to understand.
Okay, Kiran, what happened was, when the population started growing, if you go back to say 60s, late 50s, early 60s, under PL 420, we used to, that is public loan they used to call it, we used to import the grains from other world, the developed world. We were so much dependent upon them. the quality was at stake. So then the government decided we must have a green revolution. And the green revolution started. We built the small and big dams. That was the time government permitted to make use of till then we were having mostly the open wells everywhere. If you go back into history also, open wells were there. So Kiran, that was the time first immediately was digging up more wells. In those days, water table was quite high because we were not pumping out much of a water. Whatever was available from the open wells only used to be taken. So once at 100 feet, 50 feet, 60 feet, they used to get and that is how we started depending more to improve our food production. We went to the green revolution, and that is how we started off with the bore wells. That was the beginning of Kiran.
Thank you so much.
Sir, one question is there from Dr. Shivappa.
Okay.
He's asking how to plan a crop growing farm so that conservation of water is done in a farmer's land. How to plan crop growing.
Dr. Saab, the question is, the most answers will come to you from your own agriculture department. But every place has got a typical, the old days, if you ask your grandparents, they will be able to do what sort of a crop they used to sow or they used to raise. Now what happened? What has happened is we are switching over to the cash crops. Whether it is those cities which are nearer to the major towns where exotic vegetables are in need, whether it is green cabbage or is broccoli or any other such a things which are not part of the Indian grown vegetables, etc. Now they require different amount of water. Whether the soil and the temperature and pressure conditions suits them is a question. So when, Dr. Saab, when you want to do this, and that is how the government is now canvassing, advocating, that you must go back to your own things, which suits, those seeds suits your conditions. Simultaneously, you must remember now, with the rise in temperature, I haven't brought those slides here. Even if there is a 1 degree rise in temperature during the time of a sowing, then the normal conditions which are existing, you will find the yield of the crop reduces by 10 to 12%. That means, as a farmers, if you keep, you are all educated people, if you keep a track of last few years, that how much is the yield, and when you were sowing it, what was the temperature condition, and when you are cutting it, what was the temperature conditions. If you know these things, then you will be able to give the data to the research establishments so that they can develop the seeds accordingly, so that those seeds will help you now as the time goes, the carbon dioxide stays into the atmosphere for 100 years. So even if you switch off from a magic wand, gilly gilly gilly, and everything goes, no global warming, and still it will take 100 years to come back to the normalcy. That means we have to now sustain this. So to sustain this, you must have seeds also face the accordingly. So then that means you must keep this track. So your agriculture department, your old parents and the grandparents will be able to tell you what sort of a crop pattern you should use in your own area. I hope this satisfied Dr. Saab.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi sir, I am Surya from Madina Row.
Hanji.
Sir, is it possible to reduce the borewells?
Possible to reduce the
Borewells.
borewells?
Borewells, yes, sir.
Yeah, that is up to you in a sense. What is happening is, at least I know about Maharashtra. If I go to the village and when I visit the agriculture fields, I find there are more than 10, 12 bore wells there. When I ask them, the farmer will tell me, sir, the water table has gone down below 300 feet. So electric bill is coming up quite high. So we have stopped using this bore well, and we have taking the another bore well. For another bore well, government of Maharashtra gives them 25,000 rupees subsidy. But that is not the solution, friends. If you do the rainwater harvesting and recharge the groundwater table of your bore well will continuously lifelong will give you the water. You don't have to have more bore wells. Simple solution. There is no other solution to that. If you result by the water table is gone down, difficult to pump out the water, have another bore well, that is not the solution. So you can reduce the number of bore wells by recharging your existing bore wells.
Sir, one more question.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
This recharging of bore wells, how long it will take, sir?
Pardon?
Recharging of bore wells, how many months it will take? How many months or years?
No, it doesn't take any time. To do a village, which I am doing now. Now we have undertaken a project of 4 villages in Pune district where I stay. And the work will start next week. Survey, etc. has been completed. But to do even a small village of a population of 1,500 to 2,000 people, we do the work in 2 to 3 months. So your single bore well or single bore of the open well will hardly take 2 to 3 days. The moment we know how to do it, it won't take much time. It hasn't taken much time.
Sir, this is Suma here. Yes, when you say it takes hardly 2 to 3 days, can you just please explain the process as to how that works?
Yeah. I'll definitely explain to you. Suppose your bore well is, I'll start from the residential area to go to the farmland, okay? So what happens, suppose you got a bore well next to your house. So what you should do is, just like I showed you the diagram there, just take out the water from your rooftop through a pipe, put a small filter and connect it directly. Suppose this is the bore well pipe. Connect the pipe which is coming from after the filtration, connect it directly to the bore well. So water will start trickling down into your underground stream on which your rapidly. Moment the rain comes, so it is. And how much time now, you tell me how much time it will take. You've got a rooftop, you've got a small pipe coming down there, put a small filter which is available to you in Bangalore, and then connect it directly to your borewell. Your plumber or your people have done on their own. It will take hardly any time. Suppose now you come to your farm place, your field where you are having agriculture. Now there, suppose you have got an open well. Now, there is no structure available from the rooftop where to go. No need at all. Everywhere you'll find, even if you level the field, you'll find the water is flowing. If you observe during the monsoon days, rainwater will flow from one side to another side. So check up how it is flowing, channelize that flowing water to next to your open well or next to your bore well. Suppose it is open well, channelize it directly into your open well. You will say, sir, there is a mud will come. But as it is, mud will be going. Suppose you don't want mud to go in. So what you do is, you make a recharge pit next to about 3 feet from the bore well. Recharge pit will be about 8 feet deep, 6 to 8 feet deep, 4 feet by 5 feet by 6 to 8 feet deep. Put the filtration material like brick bags, coal, then you have got small boulders, and then the sand. Close it. That is 1.5 feet length filters. That water will flow through that. Sediments will settle down, and then you can connect a small pipe from the top directly into your open well or into bore well. So bore well or open well will start getting recharged. You can do it absolutely because we have done it. I've done it. I have seen it on the ground. The results are very encouraged, Suma.
Yes, sir. I understand that. It's just that when you recharge and the amount of extraction of water, if that is more, so what I'm trying to think
Yeah,
is,
I got your point.
doesn't it,
I got your point that output is more than input.
right.
That's
Then
what
the
you are trying.
recharge is going to take a lot of time, right? It doesn't
No.
just happen.
What happens is, like I tell you a simple example, I'll give you my society. Our society, there is one borewell. And the borewell, in those days, I'm talking about 2002. And see, when I retired in 2002, came there, I found one single borewell. The depth was at 225 feet, water level, and half an hour yield was there. After half an hour, it was too close. So no water was coming in. So the first monsoon, when I proposed, that was the first rainwater harvesting project in Maharashtra. From our rooftop of 12,000 square feet, we were collecting about 9 lakh liters of water annually. And that water we used to leave it every year into a borewell. The rising. Now today, from 225 feet, we are at 60 feet. And we are getting yield is almost about 10 to 11 hours a day. Imagine. Or depending on how the supply variation from the local body government. In your case, suppose you are getting a less amount of water from your Nagar Palika or village body government, then you require more water. Pump it out. But during the monsoon season, etc., your pumping out will be reduced comparatively. So you will keep on storing the water. Now your storage will be a natural underground stream. And so that you will find slowly and slowly your water table goes on rising.
Yes, thank you, sir. We should also keep in mind about the water quality, the quality of water that goes in. So that's quite critical, right?
Yeah, but that is how Suma, you must remember, in your area, I don't think there is any chemical factory, isn't it? No chemical factory. So obviously, the rainwater is absolutely 100% pure water. What contaminates it is your rooftop. Whatever is a dirt in the rooftop, that is why we put that small filter. So that small filter, what contaminants will be there on the rooftop? Dirt will be there. There will be dust will be there. There will be twigs will be there. There will be bird droppings may be there. Nothing beyond that. Understand? You keep some dirt there, otherwise nothing is there. So that water, and we suggest always people is, firstly, have you checked, Suma, the water quality of your borewell? Generally, borewell water will be hard because it will contain the salts. Whereas the rainwater percolates through soil in the normal conditions, it will absorb the water-soluble salts by the time it reaches your aquifer on which your borewell is there. So that is how our aquifer waters are hard. They may not be harmful to you, but they are hard. That's how even people through the hand pump, people directly drink the water or use it for the cooking purpose also. No harm. As long as it is fluoride or some not very harmful elements are the salts are there. But if you keep the track of these waters, and then if you do the rainwater harvesting, and then you keep tracking every year, then you will find the change taking place because now you are directly injecting water into the borewell without going through the soil. So you'll find it is not absorbing the water soluble salts, and it remains as clean as possible.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Suma?
Just want
Yes,
to add.
yes, got it. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question. That Shashikanth's thing. We, as a group, we have rejuvenated a village in Bangalore called Mahimapura. In that village, we don't have any borewell except only one.
Okay.
What we have done is as a village together, we spoke to the village chief, and anyone wants to collect water has to collect from this place, or we laid out pipes to the individual houses so that water will be distributed only from the society tank or whatever the common tank that we have.
So what we have done is the pH value of water collected during the pit system, like how you have mentioned. So we dug up, the small pit wells on the streams as well as near to the bore well. It has a 20 feet deep thing and about seven pits like that on the stream we have designed. So what happened was this has developed the groundwater level from about 300 feet to 60 feet now. And on the pits, you can see that by hand you can just open the lid of the pit and you can directly collect water from that 20 feet pits. So this is one of the thing happened. If anyone wants to visit this particular place, feel free to reach out to me. This is on the way to Tumkur from Bangalore. It's called Mahimapur. You can always visit. The village comes at the left side of before Tumkur. And one doctor from Indians of Science has been part of this, and we have successfully developed this. Also, we are in the process of rejuvenating 2 more lakes inside Banagata National Park on similar kind of thing. So maybe I'll detail it in next thing. But one question to you, sir. This is regarding the filter that we currently use. The natural filter system is what we are using it because it gives the nature, soil itself to filter those things. Other than the common like bird droppings or the leaf foliage, whatever, that is the normal filtering. But when we are making the pits and then putting the pipe itself, we are putting a after the pipe, we put the normal granite stone. Then over and about the loosened soil, then the soft soil, then we have the clay soil, and then again the sand. Over the sand again the bricks or the normal small stones, pebbles kind of thing. So this is the method that we try to filter the thing. So why do we need to attach the filter other than the natural filtering? Can we avoid that additional filter except what you have done it?
Hariharan, you must note that places like Bangalore, in a small towns, this is very much possible to use the natural type of filtration because Mother Nature, when the rainwater is to fall down and the water is to percolate down with the natural soil, there is no filtration system. The soil always acts as a natural filter. But if you cover the soil, like in place of any town, including Mysore, Bangalore, like Pune, it is covered with concrete. And now, where is a pit to be made? There is no space available to make pits. So what we do is, we collect the water from the rooftop. So when it is coming down from the rooftop and we are in a closed system which are directly connected to the borewell, in that particular case, we must have a filter. So this is an online filter which is advocated everywhere in the world. This is how you put the filter, and especially in the cities, where we cannot have space for the open spaces for the making the recharge pits. Yeah. That is the special.
In my apartment, we have about 60% of the area open, green, and water is collected, on the thing, and it is going to the recycle plant, and then we recycle the water, and the recycled water is being pumped into the huge well, which was an irrigation well. So that way we are cutting down the per day consumption by over 70% as of now by the rainwater harvesting. And even the used water is being recycled and it's been used for the green area.
like watering the plants or whatever the trees we have. So that way, our water consumption per month is going only 30% as of now.
So this is how Hariharan, what happens is, unless and until we share, like you have shared, is a wonderful thing you have shared, like we share when I go to and meet people. Unless and until we share these things, unless and until we help ourselves, we help each other, each one community to another community, which good old days it used to happen, we will keep facing the water crisis. Otherwise, what happens is, we know which is good for me, which I had done it. Because when I found, because I'm an army officer here, I'm Fauji chap. I do not know anything about the geology or the climate, etc. But over a period of time, I learned from talking to people, talking to villagers. When I found if I can be successful, why not others? That is how I started spreading the word. Understand like
Good, sir. It's very good actually.
In Hariharan, that staying in your neighbor, your relatives' villages, if you happen to go there for holiday, etc., you must propagate this point to their village committee. Do it like this. Then only you will be able to sort out the crisis. And we meet and we spread the word. That is what is my suggestion to you.
Sir, yes, sir. Actually, thank you, sir.
Okay.
I have a question. Regarding rainwater harvesting, the unit or the entire system which we are going to install, most of them are afraid of costs. Especially if you think of villagers to recharge their own borewells, they're afraid of costs. Is there anything which cuts the cost, and are there anyone who's doing for a very minimal rates as a taking as an very good helping others because of helping others? Are there any persons or institutions doing work on this?
Ravindra,
Villagers, I don't think they can do much amount.
Yeah, Ravindra, it's a very simple thing. Like I told you, you have got a rooftop. Suppose your rooftop is about 10 to 15 feet from your ground level. Understandably, you got double-story building. But if I take a single-story building, and suppose height is about 15 feet or a maximum 20 feet, so you require 120 feet pipe coming from the rooftop, which brings the water from the rooftop. Rooftop may be 1,000 square feet, 1,200 square feet, 1,500 square feet, may not be more than that. So that water can come down. And suppose you have got 800 millimeters of annual average rainfall in your area where you people are staying. In that particular case, you will find 80,000 liters of water per 1,000 square feet you will be able to catch. Pipe has to come down, a small filter. The pipe will not cost you much, and your borewell may be about 5 to 10 feet.
I was talking of farmlands.
Farmlands.
Farmlands,
what you will require is, like I was speaking to you other day, or today when I was speaking to you. Understand, the moment you know the flow of the water, or if there is a stream, small stream around your farmland, in that particular case, 2-3 farmers together, both the sides of that small stream, you can have 4 feet to 5 feet, a small wall can be constructed, what we call in Hindi as a nalabandi, to close that particular stream. By putting a 4 feet to 5 feet wall, the water will swell from that stream, which is about 5 to 10 feet in width, and it will come out. And come out into your the fields, agriculture field, both the sides. That water can be again channelized into your open wells. Okay. Through borewell, you can have a nearby borewell, or like I mentioned to you earlier also, suppose stream is not there, but if you observe the flow of rainwater, where is your borewell or open well is located. Accordingly, if you can channelize, make a channel going towards that side so that water flows towards that side, and then make a recharge pit and leave the water after the recharge pit into your open well or into your borewell. It won't cost you much. Absolutely, it won't cost you much.
Okay. Okay, sir. Actually, fortunately, the place from where we have done this nature foundation, there is plenty of water. But there are some villages which I know, which most of us know, which are facing water scarcity. Definitely, we will take up the call to do such harvesting activities.
Actually, to add to his thing, Ravindra, what we need to do is we need to do a study first and see what is the average rainfall recorded, or what is the average rainfall reported from villages, how many months there are, or the quantum of rain happening in that place. Based on that, we can study the things. There are various organizations or something, even government is giving subsidies to farmers in laying down this kind of farm pits. And maybe if it is a one-off case, I can come and join you for doing an analysis of this place, and I can help you out with this. Because we have done a detailed study of streams, how they flow, and what are the underground streams seen in that area. Generally, water streams are very close to the groundwater stream, because this is one of the geological observation that been shared by a professor from the Indian Institute of Science. So we tend to see that there is an awareness first created, and then based on the need, the cost again includes what kind of irrigation you are going to require. Okay, either enriching only the borewell, or for the irrigation purpose, or an irrigation well, how much of water is getting collected. So these things has to be studied. And if you want to use pipes and other things, see, other accessories are, it's individuals, the cost varies based on his usage. But a basic groundwater recharging may take about 40 to 50,000 rupees, because it includes intensive labor as well as smaller accessories that you need to have.
Definitely, I'll get in touch with you, sir.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Anything else, Ravi?
Questions, I think it's done, sir. We are very thankful, sir. It was a very informative session. I just saw your profile, sir. You have done a lot of groundwater harvesting for communities and villages. So, if we, a part of Nature Foundation, if we take up any water conservation needs of any village, we'll get in touch with you. Kindly help.
ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇತ್ತು
ಹೇಳಿ ನಾ.
ಸರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ, ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ.
One more question is there. I'll just translate, sir.
Yeah, I'll take only one more question then, so because I have got something at 6:30.
Okay, sir. This was.
ಸರ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಇರೋ ಕಡೆ ಈಗ ರೈನ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಮನ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆಸಿಡ್ ರೈನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಫಿಲ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟಾಗ, ಅದೇ ವಾಲ್ಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಬೋರ್ವೆಲ್ಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಾಗ ಅದು ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ವಾ?
Sir, question is asking is, there are some industries near this Adinaru village, around 2 kilometers far from Adinaru. There are industries. The question is asking is, if there is rainwater harvesting from the industrial places, if this water is recharged to the groundwater, would there be pollution of acid rain, such things is from the industrial area?
Dr. Saab, understand, until you have got chemical factories, specifically, any manufacturing sector, anything, because in Pune is totally covered with big industrial hubs, very big industrial hub. No, absolutely no acid rains. Acid rains phenomena will only occur when the pollutants, the chemical pollutants are in the atmosphere. And even normal conditions, people are suffering, having the asthmatic or respiratory diseases. Then only you will find the acidic rains taking place. Otherwise, normal industry, it is mandatory now in Bharat.
effluent,
have been, pardon?
the effluents from factories, sir. Not only
No, effluents of factory are the Pollution Control Board is absolutely clear on the subject. They have got ETFs, effluent treatment plants, ETPs, every factory is supposed to have. These ETPs ensure that the only the clean water as per the standard prescribed. When I mean clean, it may not be potable as such, but it will be clean of the harmful chemicals. So that water is only left into the open air. Means open air means it can go to a stream, or I don't know whether they are using that water into the rainwater harvesting, because industry in Maharashtra is using the rainwater harvesting from rooftop water only. Because the huge shades are there, there is no need for take the effluent treatment plants, because many of the times the effluent treatment plant is not working properly. If it is not working properly, that is how you will find they are leaving the ETP, the output from the ETP into your nearest stream, natural water bodies. That is how the natural water bodies are getting polluted. But otherwise, I haven't seen anybody saying you directly into your groundwater. I haven't seen this. Rainwater harvesting, they are not using it. Maybe, understandably, you have got some examples, live examples, then you should directly approach the pollution control boards to stop that particular thing.
Direct addition of this harvested water from nearby industries and into the well, because then it will be, already it is a...
No, Hariharan, the question is from where you are harvesting. If you are harvesting water from the rooftop, it is whether it's an industrial rooftop, your house rooftop, or your corporate office rooftop. It remains same.
Yeah.
It has got nothing to do with the industrial process.
Yeah. Yes.
So that goes, it will not harm you at all. Yeah, any other question? Otherwise, gentlemen, some other time, because I had to attend one more session at 6:30 hours.
Thank you very much, sir, for your informative session.
Yeah, I'm also very happy because you people are. Please share, like what Hariharan shared, that people understand that we share our thoughts. Otherwise, it will remain with me. I'm happy with what I had done. We should be spreading the word. Otherwise, our knowledge is have got no value at all. My sincere advice to all of you who are doing it, will be doing it, spread it at least in your neighborhood. Who do not stay in your village but in your diagrams, etc. It will be useful. And if you got any other problems, feel free to contact me. I'm available. Dr. Sir knows, Dr. Ravindra knows my address.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, God.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. God bless. Yeah, Doctor.